Hello, everyone. Hi, Joanne. How are you?
I'm doing great. Love your energy. Thank you.
Thank you. Cammy's gonna. I'm. She knows this is how I roll. I'm
I love it.
excited.
Love it.
Yeah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi,
How are you?
fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. I think we've met a long time ago. So we're gonna figure it out in this conversation.
All right, I love it.
Cammy, welcome.
Thank you. It's so great to be here today.
Well, I'm excited about this conversation. I'd like to thank the Female Quotient and providing this fantastic platform for this conversation on International Women's Day. It's like, I mean, it's every day, it's all day, 365 days a week, but especially today, the fact that you three ladies are taking time to talk about something that, as you can see, I am so very passionate. I'm like, geeked up right now. And I know this conversation is going to not only provide me with new knowledge and skills and how I attack community impact in professional sports, but our audience, they're going to walk away with so much. And that's all we can do is provide a value to our audience today. So I am so excited for this conversation. That was the intro to what we are going to talk about today. I'm Kareem Million. I am the managing director of Pro Sports Assembly. If you don't know, you will know. This is something that you definitely need to be a part of. These ladies here have used their platform to bring their organizations on board as individuals. And we're going to really just get to the weeds of how sports has been an arena for change. I mean, I can't say it any better than that. It's in the title. If anything, the last not even that long, 9 months, has really shown us, if you didn't know about your local sports team, you do now, right? Because the Hawks are their opening voting polls. You know, a lot of teams are stepping it up when it comes to supporting change. And so let's just go with the introduction. And I laid it up, and I want you all to slam it down with introducing yourself, what you do, and why. We'll start with Joanne.
I had a feeling it might go that way. Hi, I'm Joanne Pasternak, and I wear a lot of hats. I changed my background to one of these like virtual ones, which makes my curls look really funky. But the reason I did it was because I happened to be calling in from my brother's house in Las Vegas. And that young lady holding those Jedi swords right there is my reason for being here today. I know that she believes that she will be a Jedi warrior one day, or a Jedi master. I get all the terminology wrong. The girl right below her is my daughter, who is a pentathlete, but also kills it in flag football and really whatever she takes on. And the woman at the top is TJ Ashmead, who is taking the leap from women's pro basketball into whatever the future holds for her. My role, I was with the San Francisco 49ers for a decade, with the Golden State Warriors for a few back-to-back championship seasons.
No big deal.
No big deal, fun stuff. I got some rings, but it's all good. But I launched Oliver Rose last year as a place to really dig in to help athletes amplify their voices to inspire impact, inspire change. And I also work with the 49ers Legends Assistance Fund, the Golden Heart Fund, to help to destigmatize what it means to raise your hand and say, I need help, whether it's psychological, physiological, emotional, whatever it might be, financial, we're here for you. So that's me in a nutshell, and proud to have these three ladies and all of you here with me today.
Awesome. Georgia, I think, is the first state to have flag football sanctioned in high school. So it's like a big deal. My county has the state champs, West Forsyth. Shout out to the West Forsyth Wolverines. But I love that. And I thank you for your service. This is going to be great.
She was the only girl on her team, and some of the boys had mustaches, 13, but she didn't let stop her.
It's the chicken nuggets. Something is in the chicken nuggets these kids are eating. Sarah, hailing from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Actually, Raleigh, close, but I'm in Raleigh.
Okay, Raleigh.
That's all right. So Sarah Daniel, I'm Vice President of Sales for the Carolina Hurricanes, the NHL. So I oversee all ticket sales and suite sales. And I've been in the professional sports world for my entire career. Worked for the Detroit Pistons and Palace Sports Entertainment for, gosh, probably about 15 years to start things off, and then worked for the Detroit Red Wings. And then I made the move to the NBA league office, worked for Teambo, which is Team Marketing Business Operations, that many of you may be familiar with. That was more or less in a consulting role, working with all of the different teams on the WNBA, NBA, and G League levels. And then now I'm back on the team side, though. I miss being a part of the team. So I made the move here to the Hurricanes, and I've been here for almost 6 seasons now. And, the reason that I'm a part of this, the reason I'm passionate about this, and the reason I'm excited about this conversation and being on this panel and learning from everybody here is, I think change can start with us. We're all a part of that. It starts from who we hire, how we hire, in the office as well as in the arena, in the community. I mean, there's so many different layers of what we do and how we can have impact. And that's what excites me of, kind of just challenging myself to be better, challenging people around me to be better. And then obviously we see the impact of sports in general. So that's what excites me. And that's why I love being a part of this as well.
It's like sports is the perfect arena because everybody wants to outdo the other person. So when one team does something like, oh, so they gave $1 million, let us give $1 million too. So yeah, sports is like the perfect arena to create that kind of change. Kim Bouvour, is that how you say it? My mom is French. She would want me to say it that way, but if that's not how you say it.
Well, for the pizza guy, we say Bouvet. We make it pretty simple.
Awesome. Welcome to this conversation. We want to know what you do and why. Who are you, what you do, and why?
So Kim Bouvet, Senior Vice President for HR and Business Operations at Fox Sports. I started my whole career similar to Sarah, being in sports. I worked for the Milwaukee Bucks and then went on to work for Anschutz Entertainment Group and opened up the Home Depot Center in LA. I guess it's not the Home Depot Center anymore, but and Toyota Park in Chicago. And then moved to the Fox Sports family for Big Ten Network. And now I am at Fox Sports in LA. And I think, why do I do what I do? The HR side of me and the business ops side of me, I think is the perfect role, right? We're talking about people and we're talking about the way the business functions. And you can't function a business properly without having the right people in the business doing the work. And I feel a sense of responsibility, particularly when you get to a senior leadership position, that we have to have the right people, including women, and many of them. And so, I think it is our responsibility to not only speak on panels like this, but to impact change within our organization so that we can move the business forward.
Yes, and women are leading that charge. Here we go. As they don't want to admit it, but we here today. We know the deal.
We got this.
Cammy, representing the hometown. You got some sun too?
Yes,
Yeah.
which is nice. Love it.
Love it. So who are you, what do you do, and why?
Sure. I'm Cammy Mackey. I have the Chief People Officer as well as the DEI Officer for the Atlanta Hawks and State Farm Arena. But in my role, it's really about driving impact, within the organization through the culture. And it's really working to create a culture where everyone who works, feels that they belong, that they are able to thrive and help us to achieve our business results and also impact our community. As an organization, our community makes up our fans, it makes up our employees. And it's important that we are, again, creating that culture so that we can thrive holistically. So why do I do this? It's because I see the impact of, from an HR standpoint, when you're hiring the right people, you're developing people, you are recognizing and celebrating people, you can just see them come to life. And when they come to life, innovation comes out, collaboration, and the organization is the best that they could be. And then the person walks away being the best person that they could be. So I enjoy seeing that transformation and just, humbly want to be a part of doing what I can to help that in the process.
You all have been a big part of your organization's success. The teams do have a platform, and to hear all of you all talk about not just the players, but the staff and the community and fans, that's what sports is about. It brings here, no one ever thought soccer was going to survive in Atlanta. They were like, no, it's not going to happen. And if you've ever been to an Atlanta United game, everybody comes to those games. Anybody you could think of, you didn't know of in Georgia, in Atlanta, they are at those games. And being able to be in Mercedes-Benz with people, you may not get that much diversity at a Braves game or whatever. Sports, to me, that is the epitome of who all can come together and see the messaging that these teams and organizations are putting out, what they're supporting their causes, because they can wear a jersey of a player, they can support the cause that a player has as well, right? So I want to start with you, Joanne, and why do you think, I joked and said competition, teams want to outdo each other all the time, right? But outside of that, why do you think sports is such an impactful arena for change?
Well, whether we like it or not, as I often say to the athletes I work with, people are looking up to them, people are looking at them and mimicking their behavior. So if you have a platform, you might as well do something powerful and good. But I think today, given the celebration of International Women's Day and all that means, I want to circle back to that study that was done by Ernst & Young back in, I think it was 2016, where they said that 94% of the women in the C-suite had played sports. And it's interesting because I think a lot of people will reference that and they'll talk about how sports made us into the women who were fit for the C-suite. And I look at it really differently. For me, I was always me. I wasn't any different. But sports was the one place where I could go and be myself. I could go and be dynamic and dream big. And I was a figure skater. So when I threw myself at the ice on purpose and jumped back up, wiped the ice off my rear end and kept going, that was a skill that I was learning, and it was championed in the corporate space, in school, everywhere else. If you were the girl who always raised your hand, people were like, she's a bit much, So I look at it now as like sports isn't just an equalizer or an opportunity to amplify messages on the outside or with the celebrities, but for each of us who ever strapped on some skates or kicked a ball or even just climbed a jungle gym to the very top and felt that sense of empowerment, it gives us a chance to lean into who we are and have it be celebrated versus try and always placate those around us to be, calm and quiet. So.
Cammy, I have to pick on my hometown girl when it comes to this, because I think for you guys, why it works so well for you is location. You are downtown Atlanta in one of the most diverse cities in the South. You are representative of the people who live around the arena, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a need. You all stepped up in the 2020 election to service a need for your community, your fans, the people that bought tickets, the people that worked in your arena. And so I love that as a person who prides on civic duty. I think for you all to kind of be the leading charge, the NBA had already led the charge. The Hawks said, okay, bet, I got you. We're gonna come up here and we're gonna do this. Why has sports been an arena for change and how you've used it in State Farm Arena?
I think, and it was mentioned before about sports having a platform. When you look at viewership with sports, in some sports it's millions, some are billions of people watch each and every day. So it commands that in the first place. But then it provides, when I think about the Atlanta Hawks, and we want to be a part of the solution. When we look at our community, what are those things that our fans, our team members are battling with? In our case recently was with voter access. So we found that we could use our platform, we could use our space to be a part of the solution. And I think that's one of the keys is having that platform, but identifying what are ways that we can leverage that. How can we use that in today's world, with technology and, all kinds of things, we can use it in a very innovative way. So from a Hawk standpoint, it really was. It's like, how can we use it through our people, our players, our team members, through education, talking to people about what's going on, amplifying through showing examples of things you can do, having conversations. We have courageous conversations where we bring in, external individuals, internal, to just talk about what are ways we can be allies and a part of the solution.
You all definitely have leveraged who you are. You have the SMILE philosophy in Southern hospitality. We'll get to that a little bit more on how that drives the mission at State Farm Arena. Sarah, with what I always like to do when I start my research is see what people put in their LinkedIn summary, right? It always like, what does this person want people to know? Like, this is like the 2.5 thing they're gonna see on my profile, right? And your first sentence talk about providing a service for partners and not just buy tickets to my game, but we can provide you with opportunities to engage your team, a team outing, your clients, so much more than just what the revenue, putting butts in the seats. Why do you think the Carolina Hurricanes and the sports world in general has this impact on our culture?
Yeah, well, echoing some of what Cammy said, it's just such a great platform for us to connect with so many different people. I think sports is a great unifier. It brings people together regardless of your background, regardless of here in our area, we have Duke, we have North Carolina, we have NC State. So people are very passionate about their college sports, but we can bring everybody together, be passionate about Carolina Hurricanes at the pro level. And there's so many examples of that. And that's the amazing thing about sports is that level of emotion and the passion. And so I think using that then to use that same platform for us to have those conversations, to bring social injustice to light, to bring different issues to light as people are connected with us. It has enabled everybody to have those conversations and challenge people and challenge ourselves. And a lot of times, people don't want to hear that. Sometimes, people want to say, stick to sports. But, we're doing ourselves a disservice if all we did was stick to sports, because you can't pick and choose when you stick to sports and when you want to be involved or when people want you to be involved or not involved. So overall, I think just sports, the nature it plays in communities and the country and the world, really is that platform. It unifies people, and we need to leverage that to have a larger voice and to help promote change.
I love that. I was nodding so hard. I realized how hard I was nodding while you're talking in the screen. And the Atlanta dream pops in again, hometown girl all day, run with the dream. And they could have easily stuck to sports. This owner is writing my check. I'm playing on this team. I have housing. I take care of myself. And that was not, they did not stick to sports. And they didn't just not stick to sports. They got an entire league. No one knew. Raphael Warnock is the 12th person on when you went to go vote. His name is all the way down there. No one knew who he was before Diana Taurasi and Sue Board are walking off the bus in the Wubble with a Vote Raphael Warnock shirt, right? So definitely there's a platform there. And that's just one of the many things that was going on in 2020. I can't believe it. I haven't left this house to have fun in a very long time. But we had all these things going on, pandemic, social injustice, people just want to be heard. How do you think that's affected? I mean, Fox Sports covers it says sports, but you guys are providing stories. You're telling the world what's going on as we're living it and sharing the imagery to support what we're going through. And we went from, I think the last sporting event had gone to was a long time. Right. Dang. Well, I am a Georgia Tech season ticket holder, so let me not lie. But a big, like, if I'm 15,000 deep, I haven't done that in a while. And we just had the All-Star weekend here in Atlanta. Despite Keisha's telling them we was full, they came down here. But anyways, you guys were providing that imagery. You guys could share that story. How do you see through your lens of covering it, how all of this has affected sports?
Yeah, it's a great question, because we all shut down during the pandemic, right? And I can remember telling our entire staff, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Well, I was a big liar. And here we are almost a year later, about a year later, and sports shut down completely. And it was, for Fox Sports, that was difficult in that is our business, right? And so from a business standpoint, it was shocking. And then from the world not being able to come together to watch sport, as you were saying, it was hard. And so now everybody was in a lockdown, and what's the one thing you want to do is turn on the TV. And I think the big thing about sports is it does, as we're all saying, it does bring people together, right? It creates these bridges where out in the world there's boundaries, and it gives people who have participated in sport, you have empathy for your teammates, you understand what's fair, and you can appreciate a sense of diversity and competition. And so now we're in a situation where the world is kind of shut down and sports start to come back. And so in the midst of all of that, you have these social movements as well. And we have a responsibility as a broadcaster to, as you said, talk through that in our lens through sport. And I think the big thing that took place, and NASCAR was the first to come back for us. And so you saw, and I know we're talking about Women's Day, but you saw the change with Bubba Wallace, and we were able to bring that front and center to everybody that was watching. And I think change in general can't happen without the opportunity, without pressure points, and the social movements that took place, albeit very difficult and shouldn't happen, allowed us to create these other opportunities and create, a place where we can inspire and mobilize those out in the world through our lens, through Fox Sports' lens. And so, I think it was important. I go back to the same word of responsibility. We have to accept that we had a responsibility to do that and embrace it and find a way to empower others through that lens of our business.
I have a follow-up question for you. So what is it? I love everything you said, but as I'm hearing you talk, it's like, let's say I just don't even care that all these things are happening. I'm not going to listen to the radio. I don't watch the news. I'm not going to pick up the paper. I'm not going to do anything. But now it's in my sports. What do you say to people that say, I don't want to see that? That's not what I want to see in sports.
I think that is sports, right? Like it goes back to, we're all on a level playing field. And so when something happens in our society, you're gonna see it in sport, and that's a positive, right? This is about what's happening out in the community. Our athletes can have community impact as well as in our business, but they're the ones that are not just there to play the game. Of course, that's fun and exciting, and that fandom is what brings us all together. It's what makes people watch. But I also think the athletes on the field, or on the court, whatever the sport is, they have to have a respect for one another. And so I think that's a big piece of having a respect for your opponent that may look different than you, that you look at the NFL, first woman officiating, Black woman nonetheless. Are you kidding? There is a respect from the men on the field for that woman. And I think so, just by pure nature of what's happening, via sport that, hey, I just want to watch because I want to escape from what's happening in the world. You can't, and that's a positive thing. And I think you can do that in a way that is still exciting, that is still fun, that still provides that sense of fandom.
I love it. We touched on the athletes, we touched on the teams, we touched on everybody playing their part. As we wrap up, people assume I'm young, so we'll go with, if there's a hashtag that you like or that you want to start that just kind of wraps up getting people to take action, because I call it the diversity gap we see a lot, and it could be applied to social movement, it could be applied to just change, that change gap between intention and action. If there was a hashtag that you could use that would get people to act, oh, look at everybody looking like, all right, okay, let me figure out a hashtag. So we'll start with Sarah, since you made the most movement, so I have to call.
Right, I'm ready. Well, I did not coin this term, but I think it does apply. Hashtag just do it. Just that's the way to make change. You know, we it's all on us, and there's no time like today. There's no time like right now. So just do it. Just embrace whatever change you can do, whatever conversations you can have, whatever. There's so many resources out there as well. So yeah, I think we all can just do it and get it done.
Kim.
So I use this from my team internally, hashtag can do. And I think that speaks volumes for everybody. We can do this. We can make change.
Joanne.
I seem to use the hashtag be like fill in the blank, you know, be like Ruth, be like Kira, be like Bruce. I mean, it could be a man or a woman, but it's just when I'm inspired by somebody, I want others to aspire to be like that.
Awesome. And Cammy.
I'd say, be the change you want to see. It starts with us. We can't look at other people and say what they need to do, they should, or what have you. It starts with us. And it can be as little as having a conversation with our family. It could be as simple as, being an ally with somebody, an advocate. So be the change you want to see. Start with yourself.
And start with joining Pro Sports Assembly. If you aren't on it, Kim, I'm going to get you. Don't worry. I'm going to email you right after this. Thank you all for this important conversation, taking the time on your Monday on International Women's Day to have this conversation. The Female Quotient, we want to thank you again for hosting this platform. We can't wait till we actually can do this in person, and maybe somebody can buy me a Long Island iced tea. But thank you all, and you all have a great Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.